Welcome to Fallish Report, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. In global politics, a new wave of emerging powers is challenging the long-standing dominance of the West. The world order, once shaped almost exclusively by Western nations, is now being redefined by countries that were previously considered outside the core of global decision-making. For decades, institutions like the G7, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund set the rules of the global economy. These organizations, led by the world's richest countries, dictated financial policies and development priorities. But now, a new coalition, BRICS, is rewriting those rules, offering a different vision for the future. BRICS began as an investment term coined in 2001 by economist Jim O'Neill. It referred to Brazil, Russia, India, and China, four rapidly growing economies projected to reshape the global economic landscape by 2050. These countries, with their vast populations and resources, were seen as the future engines of global growth. But BRICS quickly evolved from a simple economic idea into a powerful political force. The group held its first official summit in 2009, signaling its intent to work together on the world stage. In 2010, South Africa joined, expanding the group's reach to the African continent and making BRICS a truly global alliance. Today, BRICS champions the interests of the global South, developing nations across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. The bloc advocates for a multipolar world, where power is shared more equally, and calls for reforms to Western-centric financial institutions that have long shaped global development. To put its vision into action, BRICS launched the New Development Bank in 2014. This institution funds infrastructure and development projects in member countries and beyond, providing an alternative to the IMF and World Bank. The bank aims to empower emerging economies and reduce their dependence on Western-led financial systems. The bloc's contingent reserve arrangement is another key initiative. It offers financial safety nets to member countries in times of crisis, signaling a move away from reliance on the US dollar and Western financial dominance. This arrangement strengthens the group's economic independence and resilience. Today, BRICS is a major player on the world stage. Its annual summits attract global attention, shaping international narratives and directly challenging the influence of the G7. The group's decisions and statements are closely watched by governments, businesses, and analysts worldwide. Despite their diverse political systems, cultures, and interests, BRICS members share a common drive for strategic autonomy. They believe that global governance must reflect their rising influence and the realities of a changing world, where emerging economies play a central role. In just 2 decades, BRICS has transformed from a simple acronym into a dynamic political alliance. It is now actively reshaping international relations, challenging old hierarchies, and offering new possibilities for global cooperation and development. BRICS's transformation accelerated dramatically in the mid-2020s, marking a pivotal moment in the global balance of power. What began as a coalition of 5 emerging economies was about to become something much larger and more influential. In a historic move, the group expanded from 5 to 10 members, signaling its intent to reshape the international order. At the 2024 Kazan Summit, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE officially joined the bloc, bringing fresh perspectives and new ambitions to the table. Then, in early 2025, Indonesia followed suit, further strengthening BRICS's reach into Southeast Asia and adding the world's 4th most populous nation to its ranks. This expansion brought in key players from Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia, making the group more diverse and globally representative than ever before. With these additions, BRICS evolved into a true voice for the global South, uniting countries with shared interests in development, sovereignty, and fairer global governance. The bloc now represents a staggering 45% of the world's population, nearly half of humanity, giving it unprecedented demographic weight on the world stage. Economically, BRICS commands over 35% of global GDP, PPP, a share that rivals and even surpasses many traditional Western alliances. With several of the world's top oil producers now inside its ranks, BRICS controls about 30% of global oil output, giving it significant leverage over energy markets and supply chains. The inclusion of Iran and the UAE is especially notable, as it demonstrates BRICS's unique ability to bridge deep geopolitical divides in pursuit of economic cooperation and mutual benefit. For new members, BRICS offers access to development finance and investment without the political conditions often attached by Western institutions, opening new pathways for growth. For the UAE, joining BRICS is a strategic move, an opportunity to hedge its bets and diversify partnerships in a rapidly changing world. The expanded BRICS is now an institutional heavyweight, pushing for trade in local currencies and challenging the dominance of the US dollar in international transactions. United, these nations are demanding a greater voice in global institutions, calling for reforms that reflect the realities of a multipolar world. This wasn't just about numbers or statistics, it was a bold declaration that the world's center of gravity is shifting, and new powers are rising to shape the future. As headlines around the globe announce this seismic shift, it's clear. The world can no longer ignore BRICS as a major force shaping the 21st century. BRICS's rise has caught the attention of Europe's eastern fringe, where countries seek greater autonomy from the West. Hungary, under Viktor Orban, and Serbia, with its ties to Russia, see BRICS as a way to diversify partnerships and assert sovereignty. The bloc's new development bank offers attractive financing without Western political conditions. For nations frustrated by slow EU accession, BRICS's consensus-based model and respect for sovereignty are appealing. The BRICS approach, economic cooperation over shared values, offers a new path for those feeling sidelined by the West. Turkey, a NATO member and longtime EU candidate, now seeks to redefine its global role by positioning itself as a crucial bridge between the West and the East. In recent years, Ankara has actively courted BRICS, the powerful bloc of emerging economies, signaling a shift in its foreign policy priorities and ambitions. Frustrated by decades of stalled EU accession talks and feeling sidelined by Western partners, Ankara increasingly views BRICS as a strategic alternative. For Turkey, joining BRICS is not just about politics, it's also about unlocking new economic opportunities, attracting investment, and diversifying its partnerships in a rapidly changing world. BRICS nations are already among Turkey's most important trade partners. And deeper integration could open doors to vast new markets, development finance, and technology exchange. This move could help Turkey strengthen its economy and reduce its dependence on traditional Western allies. Erdogan's government is determined to elevate Turkey as a true Eurasian power, leveraging its unique geography at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. This strategic location has always given Turkey outsized influence, and now, Ankara wants to use it to shape a new, multipolar order. However, Turkey's deep-rooted ties to NATO and its security commitments complicate its BRICS ambitions. The country now faces tough questions about its allegiances and how far it can stretch its balancing act without alienating key partners. Aligning more closely with a bloc that includes Russia and China, two countries often at odds with the West, risks straining Turkey's relationships on both sides. Ankara must navigate a delicate diplomatic path, seeking to avoid isolation while maximizing its influence. Turkey's move is a bold gamble, an attempt to reap the benefits of engagement with both Western and Eastern powers, but one that could leave it vulnerable if either side decides to push back. This balancing act is emblematic of today's messy, multipolar world, where old alliances are no longer absolute, and countries must constantly adapt to shifting global realities. Turkey's overture to BRICS is more than a diplomatic maneuver. It's a symbol of the profound changes underway in global politics, as nations seek new paths in an increasingly complex world. Turkey's BRICS ambitions hit a wall: India's veto. India's opposition stems from Turkey's close ties with Pakistan and vocal support for Islamabad on Kashmir, which India sees as interference. Security concerns, including alleged Turkish military support for Pakistan, deepen mistrust. Indian politicians responded with public campaigns and economic measures against Turkey. Other BRICS members, wary of admitting a NATO country, shared reservations. India's firm stance, backed by subtle doubts from others, closed the door on Turkey's full membership for now. With full membership blocked, Turkey was offered partner country status, a tier below full BRICS membership. This status allows participation in working groups and NDB projects, but not in core decision-making. For smaller nations, it's a valuable link to BRICS. For Turkey, it feels like another waiting room, echoing its EU frustrations. Ankara's cool response was clear. Erdogan skipped the summit where the offer was made. Turkey hasn't decided whether to accept, torn between formalizing ties with BRICS and avoiding a junior role. The partner status, meant as a bridge, may instead highlight the limits of Turkey's eastward pivot. Washington has responded to BRICS's rise with open hostility, especially under President Trump's return in 2025. The US now threatens massive tariffs on BRICS goods if the bloc pursues a common currency to rival the dollar. Export-dependent BRICS members must weigh de-dollarization against losing access to the US market. The Trump administration also threatens tariffs on any country aligning with BRICS, putting allies like Turkey in a bind. This economic pressure influenced BRICS's internal debate on Turkey's membership. The Trump doctrine frames BRICS as a hostile project to be countered, not engaged. Such tactics risk pushing more countries toward BRICS, accelerating global fragmentation. The US warning shot may backfire, deepening divides rather than restoring Western dominance. The world is watching to see if this approach disciplines allies or hastens a new global order. BRICS's expansion and Europe's eastern flirtations force the EU to confront its own vulnerabilities. The EU's unity is threatened when members like Hungary pursue closer ties with BRICS, undermining collective foreign policy. Turkey's BRICS ambitions complicate NATO and EU security, raising doubts about Western cohesion. Economically, BRICS's rise challenges Europe's industries and the euro's global role, but also offers new market opportunities. The EU must adapt, becoming more flexible and responsive to remain attractive in a multipolar world. BRICS's ascent is a wake-up call. The EU is no longer the only game in town. To stay relevant, Europe must reinvigorate its model and prove its value to partners. The continent's future influence depends on how it meets this challenge. As 2025 ends, the global order is shifting irreversibly toward multipolarity. BRICS's expansion and Europe's response will shape the next era. The bloc's challenge is to turn symbolic unity into real progress, especially on local currency trade and NDB lending. Internal rivalries, especially between China and India, will test BRICS's cohesion. The West must choose between confrontation and cooperation, reforming its institutions to stay relevant. Parallel systems for trade and finance may emerge, complicating global cooperation. Turkey's next move, accepting or rejecting BRICS partner status, will signal its future direction in this new world.